Now available in paperback and e-readers, ISIS, Amari's Revenge. The goddess next door is confronted by a Nubian queen out for revenge at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in this inaugural ISIS series adventure. Get your copy of ISIS, Amari's Revenge in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Christian Cooper, the black man who was the victim of Amy Cooper, the white woman known as the Central Park Karen, recently received an Emmy Award for his National Geographic cable show, Extraordinary Birder. Now, Christian Cooper was the black man who was a victim of Amy Cooper back in 2020 when she decided to walk her dog off the leash in the Central Park Bird Sanctuary, and Christian Cooper went and told her that no dogs were allowed in the area without a leash. Now, this caused Amy Cooper, the white female who was known as the Central Park Karen, to take out her cell phone and call 911 to make a false charge that Christian Cooper was allegedly attacking her. And Christian Cooper recorded this whole incident on his own cell phone camera of Amy Cooper basically making unsubstantiated claims of an alleged assault that did not happen in an effort to get Christian Cooper either arrested or have his life taken by the police. Now, Christian Cooper was going to keep that video quiet as related to the whole situation, but once his sister saw that video, she was the one who put it up on social media and also demanded that something be done about Amy Cooper, the Central Park Karen. Now, thanks to the courage of Christian Cooper's sister, there was outrage all across social media as this video went viral, and pressure was put on the Manhattan District Attorney's Office to get charges filed against Amy Cooper, the Central Park Karen, for the clear case of racial profiling that took place in that video that went viral, where it was clearly recorded that Amy Cooper was allegedly going out and making this false claim to the police in an effort to create a modern-day lynching where the police would be weaponized to go against Christian Cooper and possibly either have him arrested on false charges or have his life taken. And as a result of this video being shown to the world, the district attorney at the time, Cyrus Vance, filed charges against Amy Cooper and had her arrested for the crimes of making a false 911 call and I believe, assault against Christian Cooper, because this was a threat of direct violence against him, all for asking her to to have her dog off the leash in that area of the bird sanctuary. Now, as the district attorney filed charges, Amy Cooper was punished socially by being fired from her job for participating in the case of racial profiling that was presented on that video, and she also wound up losing the dog that she had, in addition to losing her job. And as the district attorney was looking to further investigate this case and start making the case for court, that's when Christian Cooper continued to maintain, as I see it, his cowardly position by, instead of looking to cooperate with the district attorney's office towards punishing Amy Cooper, he decided not to cooperate. And as he looked to not cooperate, the entire case against Amy Cooper wound up falling apart. And as a result, Amy Cooper went on to go on another day, and Christian Cooper allowed the whole system of white supremacy to maintain its status quo instead of establishing a tangible for justice where black people would have a legal precedent and a boundary established to create a line in the sand to let these white female racists like these Karens know where the line is. And because Christian Cooper was a good slave basically in this situation, what happened when he made that compromise with white supremacy is that they gave him a reward in his own cable television show on National Geographic. And on his show, Extraordinary Birder, he would be allowed to not have to work anymore at the job that he had before, but be able to follow his passion of following birds. And this was the reward given to Christian Cooper, all because he allowed the Central Park Karen, Amy Cooper, to be able to get a pass for her egregious and racist behavior. And after allowing her to get that pass for her egregious and racist behavior and making sure that there was no legal standard established for justice, this is what they gave Christian Cooper for being a good bootlick. Now, on the back cover of my book, The Temptation of John Haynes, I have the blurb, on the blurb, a statement, "Death kills the flesh and compromise kills the soul." And with Christian Cooper, he made a compromise that basically killed his soul, as I see it, in an effort to try to maintain the status quo of white supremacy. He went out here and made a compromise as related to justice to maintain injustice, and that basically shows me that he is one of the worst traitors as related to the black community in modern times. Because, again, here we have an opportunity to get justice for foundational black Americans, and instead of Christian Cooper having the integrity and character of his sister to stand up for foundational black Americans, Christian Cooper basically cowed to white supremacy, giving this woman a complete pass for her egregious behavior, hoping that he could get more benefits from the system of white supremacy instead of standing up for the tangible of justice. And that's what makes Christian Cooper, in my eyes, a sellout and a traitor who basically, again, got a consolation prize from white supremacy in the form of this show. And after getting that consolation prize, they decided to further reward him with this Emmy award. And this Daytime Emmy award basically was just given to him, I believe, basically as another way to shut him up and keep him from going out here and standing up for black people and standing up for black people's rights. Now, Christian Cooper at his Daytime Emmy Awards event basically made a speech saying that no matter what anybody says or does, we are not going back. We will only move forward together. Well, he ain't speaking for me, and he ain't speaking for foundational black Americans, and his statement is complete bullshit to me, because when he went out here and compromised by not cooperating to prosecute Amy Cooper, he basically set black people back and prevented us from being able to move forward as related to receiving the tangible of justice that would have benefited all foundational black Americans, would have benefited all foundational black Americans, like the young man who was racially profiled by Maya Ponsetto here in New York when she said, that he stole her iPhone when her iPhone was in an Uber, and would have established a legal standard for all of those young black men out here who would have benefited from this interpretation of law, young black men who would have benefited because had this Amy Cooper been punished by the law, it would have again set legal precedent and a boundary for all of these racist white women out here who have been running wild, making allegations against heterosexual black men, saying that black men have gone out here and been out here looking to commit crimes when there was no crime committed, and all because these women were in their feelings or insecure about the attention they were receiving. Because the main reason why a lot of these Karens go out here and participate in their egregious behavior is two reasons. One, because these women are extremely insecure about getting their needs met by the system of white supremacy and want to be felt assured that they have a position that's elevated in that system. And two, because you have cowardly black males whether it be guys like Christian Cooper who refuse to cooperate with law enforcement, or prosecutors like Alvin Bragg who refuse to prosecute women like Maya Ponsetto who participate in these kinds of crimes, holding these women accountable for their egregious and racist behavior. And what's really sad in this situation is that it's two black men maintaining that standard, two black men who, in any case, if they were in another part of the country or even in another foreign country, would possibly run into one of these Karens. And because these men don't have the backbone or the stones to stand up as a black man for black men across the country as a collective, what we have are males who want to maintain the system of white supremacy and continue to want to believe that they're going to receive rewards from it. And that's what Christian Cooper believes that he got with that consolation prize television show and that Emmy award that's basically worthless. And I say it's worthless because as someone who has studied in the entertainment industry for over 30 years, I can tell you that these awards mean nothing to white supremacy because the Emmy is just a symbolic award in a popularity contest, and doesn't have any real value in the system of white supremacy. But you'll have a simpleton like Christian Cooper believing that he's got something important, when in actuality they're just giving him a pacifier to make him feel better about the compromise he made with the system of white supremacy. Because that's basically what Christian Cooper did. He made a compromise with white supremacy, and they gave him some little trinkets just to pacify him, because what they want to get at the end of the day is the benefit of being able to continue to go after especially heterosexual black men. They want to be able to continue persecuting black men, and they want to be able to do that, and they're glad to be able to do that, all thanks to bootlicks like Christian Cooper and Alvin Bragg. They're perfectly happy with those kinds of guys in positions because they know that they're not going to do anything to upset the apple cart and of white supremacy, and they're not going to do anything to hold any of these white females accountable for their egregious and racist behavior. I mean, that's the reason why they gave him that TV show and gave him a daytime Emmy award, because they know that he's going to go along to get along. And with him going along to get along, he's not going to challenge the system of white supremacy and try to make an effort to get the tangible of justice that would benefit all foundational black American men, a benefit that all foundational black American men would receive. Once we started putting these Karens in jail, we would receive a benefit in, again, setting legal precedent to let these women know that their behavior is out of line and that they would be punished for this behavior of looking to go out and look to try to get a black boy or a black man arrested for crimes that did not happen, all because they want attention, and go out here and again punish these women and let them know that they're not going to be able to get away with this kind of behavior. That's what we foundational black American men need to have established, because the behavior of these Karens like Amy Cooper is no different than the white females who were out during the days of Jim Crow making accusations of black men sexually violating them and setting all of these white men upset, riling them up to go out here and lynch a black man. And that's the whole sad part about Christian Cooper, is he doesn't understand how much danger he was in. I mean, had this white woman been able to get a white police officer to substantiate her lies, this man would possibly be in the morgue or in a graveyard right now, like many of our ancestors were, all based on the word of a white female. Many black men either wound up in prison for life sentences for crimes they did not commit, or they were winding up killed by the police or they wound up getting lynched. But that didn't matter to Christian Cooper. No, Christian Cooper, instead of looking out for the group and collective of black men and black women in America, decided to be an individual. And as an individual, he decided to stay in the system of white supremacy, continuing to lick the boots of the white supremacist, showing us how much of a coward he is. And sadly, one day he may reap what he sows, later than what he sows, greater than what he sows, and may learn about how much of a bad decision he made by not dealing with the Central Park Karen. He may learn and rue the day, because there comes a day when white supremacy will come to want to break their toy, and that may be the day that Christian Cooper regrets what he did, because what he did was the greatest travesty of justice by denying other brothers and sisters the opportunity to get justice. And what's really sad is that his sister was more self-aware than he was, and his sister was more concerned about getting justice than he was. And that is a sad statement about black men, that you have a black man not concerned with getting justice for other black men, only thinking about what crumbs he could get from the master's table, not thinking about how he could go out here and provide for his community and serve the community. No, he decided to be an individual, but that may come back to haunt him, because in the system of white supremacy, they love to pick off black individuals. And again, these same guys, once they go out here and make the deals with white supremacy, when they get themselves jammed up, want to come back to the black community. And this is where foundational black Americans have to turn their back on a Christian Cooper, because he turned his back on us. He turned his back on us for his 30 shekels of silver in a cable television show and an Emmy award. And like Halle Berry, who turned her back on the black community when she got her Oscar for Monsters Ball, we have to turn our backs on Christian Cooper, because Christian Cooper did something, again, that was reprehensible in denying us justice. And again, if you deny black people justice, then we just don't need to have anything to do with you. We don't have anything to do with what I would believe to be a traitor, because this man could have stood up for black people as a collective and stood up for the standard of justice and got the tangible of justice. He could have stood up for black people, but instead he just sat down and was looking to sit down in order to gain, again, favor as an individual. But the same guy, again, when he gets jammed up, will want to come back to the collective. And that's where we have to say, no, we don't deal with traitors. Again, this is us getting on code. This guy basically wanted to go out here and get on code with white supremacy, wanted to get his crumbs from the master's table. And again, when he comes and gets himself jammed up, we got to get on code and tell him to go back to the masters he made his compromises with. Now, if you want to learn more about what happens when you have people who have compromised mindsets, you can pick up my novel, The Temptation of John Haynes, which goes in depth on the whole idea of what happens when you make spiritual compromises that can cost you your soul, like selling out. That's a book that goes in depth on the whole concept of sellouts and compromise. And you can get that book on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find it at other online booksellers like Draft to Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. Now, if you'd like to see me make more videos talking about the entertainment industry and things going on as related to black empowerment, you can send a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.